everyone, it's Christy with Crafted by Christy. I am making some specimen cards for my Etsy shop, and I thought maybe we could do some of those together. I love specimen cards. I love adding things to a journal that have no purpose, but for some reason I really wanted these to be functional. So this is what I've come up with. I have made little specimen cards that flip open, and I have put packing tape, I keep saying that, packing paper, and this was white, and I just put Distress Oxide on a stamp pad, sprayed it with water, and then smushed my paper down on it. Did a little bit of crazy sewing, some cheesecloth, little number there, and then I splatter painted, and that's what we have. I thought it turned out kind of cute. And then this one has the brown packing paper. I did again the crazy sewing. Number, little doily piece with a, I can't think of what those little beads are called, but they're pretty flat. I tried to keep all of the things pretty flat. And then I'm going to show you this one that has the bead on it. I put a little ball pen with some beads, writing space, little stamp. But I'm working on a beach journal, ocean journal, and I think, and this is what started my notion that I needed one with writing, as I had made this one. And I love it, but it's really just I love it. I mean, you can write on it, I guess so, but it's just a pretty piece. And I thought, I need to figure out how to make some that you could actually write on and make functional. But I think if I put it in like this and the bead kind of hangs down, it won't really take up that much room. Yeah. And then I made some like cards that open up with journaling space. The funny sewing. This one I did not add any embellishments at all to, because the paper was so pretty I didn't think it needed it. I did do some inking. This is another card type. Only half of it I put paper on because the paper on this one was pretty, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to cover that up, so I only put the packing paper on half. I actually think I like the whole better. This was not double-sided paper, though. It was white, so that's the reason I did that one. And then I put a little cluster on this. Has one of the little beads, some couple different laces, a trim, and the funny sewing. But I thought we could do some of those today. I also want to make one that's a pocket. And I don't have dimensions on this, and you'll see why, because I just basically use any piece of paper I think is pretty and will look good. So let's get started, and I'll show you how I go about that. Before we get started, let me just show you one more thing. This is my own personal journal that I don't have lots of pockets. It's mainly for ideas and writing. But like, these little cards would look so good just clipped on to the side with a paper clip, or maybe put a paper clip that has a dangle on it. I think would look pretty if I could get it on there. Doesn't that look nice? Just as a really fun, very functional. You could use it as a pocket if you clipped it on like that, for both sides actually. So you would have a removable pocket basically. Either one of these would work like that. And not to mention, like I said, my sheets don't have pockets or really any embellishments other than the tabs. So if you had a blank junk journal, look how easy that would add so much to your pages. And like these could just be, they wouldn't even need a clip. You just hang them over the top. And they're so flat, they'll just lay perfectly like that for you. And look, it doesn't add anything to your book. I love them. But also, not to mention how functional they are, you can use any kind of paper. This is some watercolor. I watercolored, splatter painted, just a book page. And I think this is going to be big enough to maybe make one out of, maybe one of the seashells. But like I was saying, I don't have dimensions because you can make any piece of paper work. It's just going to depend on what your picture is of and how big it is. And that's another thing. You can use, these are actually laminated. I hate laminating. The only reason I did it was because I was doing some bookmarks and book plates that I wanted to laminate. And so, as to not waste the paper, I went ahead and put some stickers in there, not thinking I needed to leave more room to be able to glue it. You know, once you cut it out, you need space to glue it. But anyway, it'll be fine because I think on one of these, and I can't remember which one, it was this one, I think, my laminate was a little too short in this corner, so this number covers that up perfectly. You can't tell it. It won't come loose. And the back is completely covered as well, so it worked. I mean, you would never know that unless I just told you that. But, so I thought we could maybe finish up some of the ones I had done. And this is an index card that I did smooshing with the Distress Oxide on. I thought maybe we could make one out of that. Maybe one of the cards versus just the little specimen card that flips up. We'll do a side one. But another thing that I thought, oh, as I was saying, you can use, this is laminating, but you could use acetate. I've done it with cellophane bags. Actually, in this journal, this one that's with just a cellophane bag that packaging came in. And I stamped a piece of inked paper and put it in between the two sheets. I didn't even glue it, I don't think. I didn't glue it to the plastic, just glued the plastic to the cutout. And then this one I made has pockets, put little tags in there just so you could see there were pockets on both sides, because I wanted it to do something more than just be eye candy, I guess. But as I was working on these specimen cards, I realized there's so many things you can do with them. And you can of course cut them out by hand. I've done that too. But I did get a small die cut, one of those little purse Sizzix things, I think. Sizzix, yeah. At a secondhand store a long time ago. And I haven't used it much because it is small. But it is so perfect for this project. And I'm telling you this because, you know, no, we don't need to spend a lot of money and we can do all the things without this. But it sure does make it easier. And like I said, this was really cheap. I got it at a secondhand store. And a lot of times online you can find things where people are just tired of scrapbooking or crafting and they'll sell a whole lot for like nothing. But we're going to use that to cut ours out today. here's my shells. And another thing, I also use the self-laminating, which doesn't take a laminating machine. It's just, you put your picture in between and it automatic, it has the sticky on the back, kind of like contact paper. Works like that. And actually, contact paper would work. The clear contact paper, you could use it on that as well. Or make your pictures on that as well. I had a couple of shells left that I was gonna make one, but I can't find it, so we'll move on to one of these other ones. I also had some of this paper. It's just digital paper that I accidentally spilled water on, and I thought it looked really cool, so I kept that one. I have a couple of these pieces left. I guess we could do one out of that. Actually, we could make a pocket out of one of these. Why don't we try that? We'll put our stuff together first. That way, when I do my die cutting, I can do it all at one time. I picked out some different shapes that I thought would be fun to use. I think that would be a neat oval one, horizontal or vertical, either one. Vertical, it's the way it's meant, I'm sure, but I think I would like it the other way too. Okay, so I've cut out all of my pieces, done different shapes, square, and I don't know what this one I messed up. I was only supposed to cut part of it, and I ended up cutting both sides, so we're either going to make this one a true specimen card, or we just might still make it a pocket. We're going to work on that one. And then another square, kind of a vintagey, kind of reminds me of like a marquee, and then a deckled edge. I thought I would start with this one that looks like a map. I'm going to make it I want to make it a pocket one. And I was thinking maybe I was going to put like some book page or something where the white wouldn't be what was showing. But I've decided, since I was going to ink around anyway, I think what I'm going to do is maybe ink some of the back. I'll ink some of the back just to take away that stark white. I don't have to do the whole thing, as it's not going to be seen, just behind the picture. And then also, I think I'm going to, I guess I don't need to do that side, do I? I forget it's a pocket and that part isn't going to show. I haven't made pockets, but I'm sure that I can figure that out. I'm sure you can figure that out. I just thought it would be fun to kind of do some of them together. Everybody, I mean, it's not like anybody's showing anything really brand new. It's just that you're showing your version of it, and sometimes watching those videos like that give you an idea as to how you want to do yours. So I thought I would just take and stamp a little bit of wording in the background so that that will show maybe behind the picture, and it won't look quite so bare. Got all the inking. I'm going to glue in my piece. I chose this little butterfly lady. And just know if you get glue on your laminate or your, acetate, it's going to dry clear, so it'll be fine. Maybe if I just put something over this top piece, because that's all that's going to catch if you're trying to put something down in there. So I think I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper and glue across that so that it won't catch. And I'm going to take the round punch and cut out a notch. Ink that up. I'm going to sew around that. I think I'm going to round these corners. On to the next one. So I did a square on the, no I didn't. What did I do? Messed up's what I did. This was supposed to be for the mushroom, but I was supposed to cut a square and I cut the decollage, so let's find something else to put in here. I like the colors, so I think we're going to go with this one. Tell you what we should do to tie this all in together. I just had a brilliant idea. Probably be a fail, because sometimes when I do things, if things are not working out, I should just stop, because they're not going to get any better. But we're going to try it anyway. So I think what I'm going to try, and just rip a piece of this. And it's just really thin packing paper. Stamp my little block here. Wet it a little bit. And smoosh my paper onto it. I'm going to dry this in between where I don't make some mud. Then I'm going to take some forest moss. Well, I ended up using a little bit of vintage sepia, because I thought the mahogany was a little too pink, and now I really like this color. I hope it shows through well. And then I also took some antique linen spray and sprayed this paper with it, because after I smushed the mahogany and the forest moss, I thought it was a little too bright. So I also smushed the brushed corduroy, and I thought the colors were too vibrant for this particular paper. So I sprayed it with this antique linen just to dull it down a bit. And then I stamped some wording on it. Also changed my mind about the picture. I thought that the flowers were really too big and too pink. So I've switched it from this to this one. I thought maybe I could go the shabby chic route. I have never made anything that was shabby chic, so I guess we'll see how it turns out. But that's how I ended up doing this one. And then the inside is so beautiful and still dull enough that it's going to be able to be written on. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these others. I think I'll make a pocket out of this one because I need to stand her. I guess the way I had it cut, it's going to have to stand that way. So yeah, I probably had in mind to do a pocket. So I'm going to ink around this one. I think put a little of this, maybe I'll just splatter it a little bit. Some of this linen. I think I'll do a little bit of gathered twigs too. That gives it a neat background when it's closed, if there's not a tag in it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one shut. Okay, so I'm going to round the corners on this. I think I'll go ahead and cut out a finger notch too. Then ink for the third time. Sorry, I usually am a little better at thinking ahead, but I get so excited when I have a minute to work on anything now that my grandson is here, and I love him being here, don't get me wrong, I sure do. He's a sweet pea. It's a different lifestyle for life. Well, I shouldn't say lifestyle. It's just different for me because I think I'm gonna round this one too. I like the looks of that better. Do you? Yeah, let's do that. It's just a different routine, I guess. And on this one, I think I'm gonna do a writing spot one. I think I'll go ahead and smush it and then I'll tear it when it's ready. So let's do some colors like that are on the outside. We'll do some of that stuff. I think I may have used, I was trying to remember if I used the powdered, like the brushos, or if I used the inks and did the smushing, but I think we'll just do the smushing. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Sometimes I like the back side better than the front. Yeah, I like that a whole lot. Okay, so make sure I have the color I want in there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we've got these 4 ready to sew. And this is the one I messed up and cut it all the way through. Alright, so I think we have these ready to go to the sewing machine. I think we have done pretty good. We got some different ones here. Got some open up book ones, over the top, or flip ups, 2 pockets, and an actual specimen card. I think we'll hang a piece of, oh, that beaded, metal beaded, I don't know what you call it, chain, I guess. That way if they want to hang it onto a page or put a charm on it, maybe put it in the front of their journal or anything like that. That's really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to sew these and I'll be right back. I'm sure you've already figured this out, but after I got ready to go sew, I thought an easier way to do the pockets so that you don't have to glue the piece here to keep the tag from catching is when you're cutting, go ahead and have your piece on the back and cut it too. And I kind of glued it on the side a little bit to keep it still, but I left open enough where I could slide this in, and then I'll just glue this down, and then your whole piece is, your whole back side is covered, so you don't have to worry about your tag getting hung on anything as it's coming in and out of the pocket. And then I'll just trim this down to fit in the pocket. But anyway, I just want to, like I said, I'm sure you guys figured that out as I was doing it. Why don't you just cut a piece as you're doing the die cut so that you don't have to worry about your tag getting hung. But I just thought I'd show you that I had finally figured that out. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew these, and I think on this pocket I'm going to leave that little rugged because I really like that look for some reason. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, so I have completed all of the sewing. I thought this one turned out pretty good with the colors. I used kind of an orange rust to go around that one. And I believe these three, I just decided to go with brown. I really wanted something more, I don't know, more like this color, but I couldn't find anything in my thread, so I just stayed with the brown. And I went ahead and sewed a little bit of lace on this one and did little bit of crazy sewing. I'm gonna glue that down a little bit. And then here is the one that is truly a specimen card. But I wanted to show you on the pockets, the two pockets, these I did black. The little boy, I decided to add a couple of little letters around. I thought that was kind of cute. And the butterfly, these two are the pockets. And actually I have three pockets. But I wanted to show you, this one isn't complete, but just to give you an idea of what a tag will look like in here. It'll show through, and then you put your little top on it or whatever. But I think they turned out good. I think they'll look really, really beautiful in a journal. I'm going to finish them. I'm not going to, of course, make you suffer through my decorating of them. I just wanted to show you how I was making these. I thought somebody else might like the idea of being able to actually write in the specimen cards. And maybe this isn't a new thing. I looked somewhat, but it always seemed like there wasn't, I didn't find any, let's put it like that. Doesn't mean I come up with it, it just means that this is what I did come up with. So, so I will have different ones over the page, the card ones. I love this seashell one. But anyway, I just thought I would share that with you while I was making them for the shop, and if you're interested, please go check it out. It's Crafted by Christy shop, and I'll leave a link below. But please, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope you try to make some. Not try, you will make some. I hope you make some of your own, because they are a lot of fun, and I think they're going to be very effective and useful in a journal, and I just love how they turned out. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.